to us and what your issue is. And just to kind of, you're not talking to us so much as you're talking to our readers and you're talking to other people who have gone through the same thing. What are you going through right now, basically?
I've exhausted all avenues of help. My union will no longer assist me, and I don't have the financial resources to go get my own lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the places I've gone to, I don't know, I've contacted, I tried to contact the tribunal, and
It's a human rights tribunal?
yeah, and they don't really talk to you. They have, you know, usually if you're unionized to go through your union, and I'm kind of past a lot of time limits now that I didn't realize I had at the time.
So do you think your union, which was CUPE, let you down?
Oh, absolutely. They're really it's my employer that.
So you were bullied at work after you were injured as a paramedic here in the city of Cornwall.
Yes, I felt I was bullied.
And it was Diane Shea that you allege initiated it?
Well, it was my immediate supervisors who, I guess, answered to Diane Shea. But I did have a few incidences with Ms. Shea. But most documented and most dealings that I did with, like, on a daily level were my immediate supervisors.
So if I'm understanding the overview from our first meeting and from what you originally sent us, you were a paramedic with an unblemished record. You were injured on the job.
Yes.
And then once you sustained the injury, you were not, you feel, given time to heal properly or treated properly. And then the machine got a hold of you and you ended up having your job shifted, your union let you down, and it's now resulted into the situation you are today.
Yeah, it's my understanding, as per my collective agreement, I'm to have 2 years to recuperate before I'm have to look at other work. It was about, it was a very short time anyway that they decided that I would no longer be a paramedic. I don't know if, Ms. Shea kind of let me know over the phone mid-shift to not return the next day.
Okay, so you were told not to return the next day. That was when after you were injured and you're still at work, or is that?
Yes, I was doing modified duties at the time, which is.
Was that 2010?
This is 2007.
2000. Okay.
And in January of 2008, Ms. Shea called me mid-shift. I'd been through work hardening. Very early on, I was into it was approved by everybody somehow, but I was entered into a very aggressive work hardening program, and it really exacerbated everything.
Work hardening program?
Yeah, through physiotherapists to gain strength in your abilities to get back to your pre-injury job. So there was a lot of lifting and carrying and trying to increase muscle strength, and that would have been great if I.
But the long and short of it is you ended up with an injury that was difficult to diagnose at first. Is that? Yes.
It's still.
And it was a debilitating injury. Yeah.
Yes, I've been declared 18% disabled. What are the parties that do that?
It's also a difficult injury to rehabilitate.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I've had MRIs done, and not a lot shows up on MRIs, but I have all the evidence of nerve impairment. It's kind of anybody who's had sciatic pain. It's kind of a similar thing, but it affects my right arm, right shoulder, and my neck.
Similar to sciatica?
Yeah, with that nerve kind of, shooting hellfire pain. Yeah. It's similar to a sciatic type of thing. So, stretching it out and.
So did that make it difficult did that affect the the relationship with your supervisors and management? The fact that you had this kind of injury that was kind of difficult to...
Yes. I think it's difficult for, I think the city states they are told what WSIB is given. It's really funny because WSIB is given all of my doctor's letters, but I guess it's up to the WSIB consultant to really make the decisions as to what's valid or what's not.
You said in our first interview that the city was rejecting your doctor's letters?
Yes, there were, I was taken off of work completely, and I can show you if you like.
Oh, we'll go into those after.
Okay.
So, but you have two issues, and it seems like you get caught in a tug of war between the city and the WSIB, where neither one kind of wants to take the responsibility for your claim. Is that accurate, or?
Yeah, but really during my light duties, I was often, I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of physical issues, and I was often pushed beyond my limits because some static lifting type of FCE exam said I could do it. They're just on physical movement. They don't really take into account any of the other parameters.
Okay.
Which I have documented.
And go back to, tell us what exactly happened when you first, what you were doing when you first were injured, how that came about.
Just a lot of clerical work.
But when you actually injured yourself, when you injured your neck, what were you doing? How did that happen?
Oh, I was, myself and my partner were lifting a patient out of their home on the stretcher, and we couldn't roll it through the snow that had fallen. So just lifting enough weight off the wheels to push it approximately 8 feet or so, I pulled traction on my upper body somehow.
And how long had you been a paramedic for the city of Cornwall?
At that time, 6 years? So about 6 years.
Okay. Prior to the injury?
Yes.
So what went wrong?
I immediately felt like I was giving birth through my scapular area.
Oh, really? But what went wrong in the process? Why did something seemingly as innocent as a workplace injury that could have been easily taken care of? How did you get from there to this point? Like, did somebody drop the ball? Who failed you?
Many balls were dropped. Just initially, I guess the problems I started to have were just problems at work with a lot of the tasks, and my supervisors they didn't like the amount of work that I was doing, the quality of work.
Who were your direct supervisors?
Bill Lister and Andre Turbide. And it was often a problem. I had, at one point I was completely immobilized for a month, and I couldn't drive the 100+ kilometers to work. It was unsafe for me to drive. I couldn't move my neck. And they really had a difficult time accepting that I couldn't drive to work. And I mean, even if I got to work, I can't move. It was probably one of the worst months I've ever had in May of 2008. And I was harassed constantly by the WSIB nurse at the time, and Miss Shea.
How do you define harassment?
Just constantly, my physicians would send off paperwork saying I couldn't drive. I was immobilized, taking pain meds, and they didn't like that, they always felt there was always some kind of accommodation. There's never a reason not to go to work, basically. That's really how Cornwall even operates now.